We're so pleased to have the great race join us in downtown Owensboro on the 23rd of June. You guys will be rolling in about 5 p.m. on the 23rd of June. We couldn't do this without, number one, shout out to Mark Calitri and the Convention and Visitors Bureau for bringing this to our attention. Not only that, a shout out to Don Moore Automotive, to the City of Owensboro, to the Bluegrass Music Hall of Fame and Museum, and Old South Barbecue, as well as Daviess County Fiscal Court for sponsoring this leg of the race. And also a shout out, we have our own vintage auto crew here in this community called the Sunset Cruisers, and they have automobile shows down on the river every year, and they're going to be helping us as well. So first of all, Jeff, welcome again, and tell us, what is the Great Race?
Well, it's an old car race across the country each year, and it's not a speed race. It's a race of endurance and accuracy, and we'll do 9 days, and we'll cover 2,300 miles. The oldest car is a 1916 Hudson, just to give you an idea of the type of vehicles that'll be coming into the community. And that happens to be the car that won the last race as well. It was 103 years old when it won the last race. So you're going to see a lot of amazing cars, a lot of great people. You know, there's 500 people in our total entourage. We'll have about 120 cars. There's a driver and navigator in each car. There's a port crew, and it takes a staff of over 40 people to put this on. They're volunteer staff too. So it's an amazing event. It's perfect event for Owensboro, and we travel different routes every year, and we look for cities like Owensboro that will do like all those people you just mentioned that are helping make this happen, because it takes a lot of people to make this happen.
But Jeff, tell us, how did the Great Race get started? Was that just a little bitty idea that started small and it's really grown, or was it big from the very beginning?
You know, it's kind of funny. There really was an event in 1908 called the Great Race, and it was from New York City to Paris, France. Believe it or not, they raced across America. They actually had the idea that the reason it was started in February, because they were going to go up through Alaska and across the Bering Strait. They thought the Bering Strait was frozen to where they could go into Russia, but it was not. So they had to ship the cars across the Pacific Ocean. They ended up racing through China, Mongolia, Russia, and into Europe. And the only American car in the race was a Thomas Flyer, and it won the race. And in 1965, they made a movie based on that event, and it was actually a comedy, starring Tony Curtis and Jack Lemmon, Natalie Wood, and Peter Falk. And it's a great movie. It's called The Great Race, and it's a wonderful movie if you've never seen it. And in 1983, my man named Tom McRae got the crazy idea to do something to get old cars out of museums and get them back on the roads again. And he decided to start this old car race across the country. And the very first race went from Southern California to Indianapolis, and actually finished at the Indy 500. On the week of the Indianapolis 500 in May, and it just kind of took off from there. And this is I believe it's our 38th year.
Are you going to be driving an old-timey car?
No, I used to be a competitor, but now I put the event on, and I'll be driving a modern vehicle.
You're just part of the entourage, making all the accommodations and things like that. So what if I wanted to compete? What do I have to do?
We have to have a car 1974 or older. You have to have another person, either a driver or navigator, and be ready to have a lot of fun.
Okay. So we're stopping here in Owensboro. How many cars did you say were going to be in this race?
It's 120, and each car has its own minute. They draw numbers.
Okay.
and there's a car every minute for 2 hours. And of course, you're being the finish of that day. If everybody did it exactly correct, they would finish exactly 1 minute apart. The whole idea, though, is that no one does it exactly correct. You're going to be a few seconds early or a few seconds late to every checkpoint, but they generally stay within that range of 1 minute. See, the neat thing about a finish is you get to see a new car coming in every minute for 2 hours. And we have an announcer that tell everybody, you know, this is a 1916 Hudson, and it's from they're from New York. They've won the race 3 times, that kind of thing.
Hey, well, tell me what route, or do you have that down yet? What route will the cars be coming into town where people could line the route, maybe not be downtown, but line the route where they're coming into town?
Because we don't use road names. This is one of the hardest things. People always want to know, are we coming by their house? We don't use road names. We don't know what roads we're on. It's,
Okay.
turn left at the 3rd road past this particular sign, and then and go a certain speed. So we don't use road names, but I know that we will come in on to Veterans Boulevard by in between to where the Hampton Inn is on the right hand side.
Okay, so Veterans Boulevard is going to be coming. Yeah. Folks, then we're sorry we can't give you the exact location where they're going to be coming into. So we're inviting anybody and everybody to come on downtown. And
way more fun to come downtown. That is really where you want to be anyway.
Will they have an opportunity to talk to the drivers, the car owners?
Absolutely. The cars will stop for about 30 seconds at the finish gate while they're announced, and then they'll be parked. And that's what they do. The crowds will gather around and say, I've never seen anything like this. What is it? And the drivers will talk to them. The navigators, people ask, how did you come? And they'll say, I don't know. And they'll show people the charts, and people will understand then that it's cryptic to some degree, but if you follow it, you will make every turn. And most always, no one ever gets lost. They might make a wrong turn and realize it pretty immediately, but
that was my next question. Have you ever lost somebody and never found them?
No, we had in 2015 when we had our first Japanese teams come over, and they didn't speak a word of English, and we were on Route 66 out in New Mexico, and they had made a wrong turn and had gone, we don't even know how far, but they were hours late getting to the finish. And we have a sweep vehicle that comes behind the last car. Yeah. So if anybody's broken down the side of the road, they stop and pick them up. And they made a wrong turn and must have gone 50 miles out of the way, and not speaking any English. It was amazing that they made it to. It was Gallup, New Mexico at the finish that day.
Right. Well, Jeff, I understand that you have cars coming from England and Canada and Germany and Japan. Will they be bringing cars that were manufactured in those countries?
There are a number of British cars in the race, and the Japanese teams bring Japanese cars. Unfortunately, due to the COVID restrictions, we've lost all of our international teams. There's usually 1 or 2 teams from Japan,
right?
Half a dozen or so from Canada. Even the Canadians are not being allowed in. So
well, that was my next question. I know there's been some consternation over the Olympics that's supposed to take place later on in the fall in Japan, and they're trying to determine whether or not that's going to happen. So what you're explaining to me is kind of a carnival atmosphere where everybody is down there milling around, having fun, learning everything they can about these old cars and about what the great race is all about. Do you have a Facebook page or a website that people can go to?
Yes, greatrace.com, and that will get you just anything you want to know about the race, from past events, Okay, am I still with you there, Al?
Yes, you are. Yeah.
Something looked like it froze. Yeah, the greatrace.com will tell you everything you need to know about the event.
So it's greatrace.com.
Yes.
You could go on there, folks. You are more than welcome to come on downtown on Wednesday, June the 23rd. The first car is going to roll in about 5 p.m. I'd advise you to get here a little early so that you can get you a prime spot to watch them come down Veterans Boulevard and have a conversation about all these great cars. Jeff, you talked about a Hudson winning, I think, last year.
Yes.
And I'm old enough to remember a Hudson because my daddy had one when I was a little bitty boy. So
yeah, I bet that doesn't look like this 1916 though.
Well, it did not. It did not, I'm sure. So thank you for coming on. Thank you for bringing this event through the city of Owensboro and Daviess County. And we look forward to a good time and good weather.
We're looking forward so much. You hit it on the head of a festival atmosphere. We may have lost a few of our international teams or all of our international teams, but there's still more than 120 cars from every corner of America, every kind of a car you can imagine. There's a 1917 Peerless Green Dragon race car that I think everybody will want to see.
Okay, well, on behalf of Owensboro and Daviess County, tell everyone to be safe. We want to see them all here in our community.
Thank you very much. Looking forward to it.
Thanks, Jeff. Bye-bye.